Hey guys, welcome back to Get After It with me, Captain Matt, where I go over life, business, and boating. Today, Wednesday, just a nasty, yucky day out, raining, blowing, chilly, the whole 9 yards, and not a really good boating day. But that's not always the case because here near my house, I'm about 12, 15 miles inland from the coast. It could be nasty, yucky here, blowing sideways, and we have perfect boating conditions off over on the east coast of Florida. Today's not one of those days by any means, but there's several tools that I use as part of my morning routine every day that I look at to determine whether or not it's going to be a good day on the water, because especially with Sandhill charters and even the tour boat up in Jupiter that I run, we don't want to be going out when it's nasty, yucky, or even potentially dangerous. So I'm going to go over just some of the tools that I use in determining a safe boating day or a good boating day. So stick around, I got a little bit to talk about. Let's get after it. Very first report I use is the marine forecast. This covers a pretty big area, so it's just kind of a broad picture, but right off the bat, small craft advisory with a gale warning after 4, really bad winds and sea conditions. So let's just kind of deep dive and see if maybe we can stay intercoastal. Looking at the offshore swell, 22-mile-an-hour winds backs up the first report, 9.1-foot swell right up along the coastline. Is that really the case? Yep, sure is. We look at the live inlet cams, and we can see the offshore conditions are nasty. So now I'm going to look at the overall forecast. Let's look at the rain chances and probabilities through today, tomorrow. Looking pretty bad. Wind, again, 21, 22, 23, 24 mile an hour. Kind of backs up the first set of reports I looked at. Then I can look at the radar. What's coming? Because I might be able to stay to the ICW, but not with all this moisture coming in from the south-southwest. Now, sometimes this report's pretty inaccurate once you get beyond 2 hours. But this is pretty consistent with what I've been seeing, so I expect this to be accurate. Here is the RadarScope app showing live radar. I can deep dive any of these reports and change parameters on them. But sure enough, there's going to be a lot of rain coming, so no ICW route today. Then we go over to the Windy app. Can take a look at the wind speeds. I can zoom into all these different icons and really get local conditions nailed down, but looking at the broad picture, it's windy. This is sustained winds, 30, 35 mile an hour, some places higher with that low pressure system coming around the peninsula, moving to the north-northeast. That's why we have the rough sea conditions right now until that moves out of here. But I like to see greens. Greens and maybe some yellows aren't so bad. Windy app with the swells, I can fast forward through the time slots and see what the swells are looking like. A lot of times I'm looking for green or blues along the coast. That means I can usually get out a couple miles. But right now we have swell conditions that are showing it's pushing right up along the coast. Again, I can go right back to the live inlet cam feeds and see just how bad it is offshore, which means the inlet's going to be really rough, which means no ash scatterings, nothing like that. Here's a look at Jupiter, much of the same. Kite surfers are having a great day today, but there's no boat activity whatsoever, and for good reason. So we're staying dockside today. I use this tide zap as well, especially if the rain's not an issue. This lets me know if what time we should be going to Peanut Island for the best underwater clarity. Lets me know what the conditions in the ICW are going to be like, especially if the wind is out of the north or out of the south. If it's going against the current, then of course it's going to be a little bit rough in the ICW. The app also allows me to look at the radar. I can check out local weather conditions here as well, see what the forecast is going to be. Now, because these all pull from different models, if they're all talking the same language, then I know the weather is going to be pretty accurate. If they're talking different languages, then I kind of got to get a general consensus. And, of course, I can see the moon phase, and that kind of plays out with the tide cycle as well. So lots of little things to look at here. Alright, so as you can see, there's a lot of different tools to use. That is not an exhaustive list of what I use. That's just a small snippet, make a rapid fire decision of whether or not the boat's going to be going out. And today, obviously what we looked at, it is very clear the boat is not going to be getting off the dock today or probably tomorrow at all. But, you know, other days it's not so clear-cut like that. It's pretty marginal. You might pull up the overall forecast for, say, Riviera Beach, and it says oh, it's going to be raining in the morning, sunshine in the afternoon, and then rain in the evening, and then you look at that same forecast 2 hours later and it's completely different. So I use all the different tools available to kind of paint a much clearer picture of what to really expect by the hour, looking at long-range models, things like that, makes the best determination. And so far, I've been pretty darn accurate in making the decisions to keep the boat dockside, even though the weather forecast said it was going to be clear, and just about 99% of the time, sure enough, we get to a trip time that was supposed to get off the dock, and the skies open up, the lightning starts coming, and it was a good decision to stay dockside anyway. So just a little sneak peek. Appreciate you guys sticking around. I got more to do. Let's get after it.